angry guy here, and women are shocked. Men are happier without them. So women are shocked, men are happier without them. This is my birthday stream. Welcome to my birthday stream. Happy birthday to me. Thank you guys for joining me. I am 40 years old today. I didn't know if I'd actually make it to this day. I'll be honest with you. I've had so many ups and downs the last couple of years. I had some serious health issues, which forced me off YouTube for about 3 years. And it's just incredible knowing that I'm here 3 years later. I'm back on YouTube. I'm making content for you guys. And it just feels so good. For those of you that don't know already, a lot has happened recently. One of the things that's happened is at the time of seeing this video, October 11th, Jada Pinkett Smith has revealed that her and Will Smith have basically not been together for years now, and they were just faking their relationship. Oh, we have a lot to cover. We have an absolute lot to cover. Let's go ahead and start that background music because we're going to put on a video from today. So I actually covered this in another video, but we're going to go ahead and jump into here.
We are back 8:14 with Carson and Hoda's exclusive interview with Jada Pinkett Smith, and everyone's going to be talking about this.
Yeah, she is one half of Hollywood's most powerful couple. She's at the center of constant gossip and controversy, including that slap at the Oscars. She was sitting right next to Will Smith. And when we met up with Jada in her hometown of Baltimore to talk about her candid new memoir, Worthy, she opened up about an issue that has been kept secret until now.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now.
Yes.
Y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
But in public, the couple, who married in 1997, denied the gossip about their marriage. This interview on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen was taped a year after Will and Jada separated.
So how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
Wow. That's amazing. How do you keep it hot?
How do I keep it hot? Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm baffled, really.
Yeah, right.
Over the next several years, Jada and Will kept up the appearance of a committed married couple. They even faced a scandal when Jada had what she called an entanglement with a family friend. Neither let the public know they had already split.
So I guess my question is, I feel like you're a straight talker.
I am.
Except you're not sometimes.
Yeah.
So
basically, she's just calling her out right there, saying that, you're a liar. It's like she tries to not be so direct. The reporter tries to not be so direct, but in reality, she's basically saying you're a liar. Her and Will are terrible liars. Shout out to Mr. Shadow. Says happy birthday, AG. Thank you so much. I'll save the date. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jennifer says, on the contrary, women do men and visa worse. Happy birthday, AG. Thank you for that, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I mean, it's so sad. It's so sad what's happening in modern day society right now, and it's like it's not going to get any better. Look at how much this guy destroyed his career over someone who doesn't even love him. His daughter Willow wishes that Tupac was her father, and Jada wishes that Tupac was her husband. I mean, they didn't even make it 20 years. They did not even make it 20 years. And the craziest thing is that she was the woman who took Will Smith away from his first wife. You know, she broke them up, and this is the relationship. This is the outcome that we have now. You know, women are shocked that men are happier without them, and they don't realize it's because of everything that they've done in society. They've created a society where men are afraid to even speak to them. Men are afraid to even look at them. You know, we have another video, guys, the Jason Derulo video for you guys, and you should already know what happened right now with him.
Derulo, a big name in music, is being sued for sexual harassment. 25-year-old Amaja Gibson is coming forward claiming Derulo ended their working relationship after she denied his sexual advances.
He started inviting me, asking if I wanted to go to members-only lounges and having drinks with him. I told him I wasn't a drinker.
Did he ever explicitly ask for sex in exchange for career?
He was trying to get me to party with him and drink and all this other stuff. And once I started to be aware of his intentions and where he was going, I steered away from that, and I noticed that his actions started to change.
Did you ever tell him, I'm not going to compromise myself?
Yeah, I told him that.
Derulo denies the allegations.
I stand against all forms of harassment, and I remain supportive of anybody following their dreams. I've always strived to live my life in a positively impactful way.
And you know what's crazy now, guys? So his career is done because it's guilty until proven guilty for guys. You know, there's no recourse to coming back from this. There's no chance of saying, hey, listen, this is what happened, and this person is clearly lying or exaggerating. Nope, because once a woman has defamed his name, that's it. There's no coming back. He will always have an asterisk next to his name. It really doesn't matter. And that's the reality that we live in. That's the reality that men now live in society. All right? And more men are watching this. Boys are watching this. And we're at the point where basically every woman is like, you know, women who are desperate, they're like, okay, so this guy is my come up, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And there are no repercussions to destroying his name, to messing his life up. She's actually suing him right now for inviting. She's a singer. He was working with her, and then he invited her to a members only club, right, where there are other performers that go there. So a VIP lounge where she can mix and mingle with people who are famous. And she took it as, oh, he was interested in her. She cannot say that he ever expressed any interest in her whatsoever, but she's saying that, oh, well, she could tell that's what he meant, which is absolute nonsense. She destroyed her entire career. He literally was opening the door for her, and she turned around and did this. And it's crazy. It's crazy and it's sad, but that's the new reality that we live in. And that's why the passport bros exist. That's why men are walking away from Western society. They're going overseas to start new lives with Filipino wives, or other women. And a lot of men are not getting married ever. A lot of guys are going overseas to find their peace. They're dropping out of society. They are walking away entirely from society because they can't do it anymore. They're sick of it. Men just want their peace. That's the new reality of things. And a lot of women don't comprehend that. They don't realize that men are tired, and men are done with the games. Men are done with the nonsense. Men are walking away, and they're done, and they're starting new lives and finding happiness outside of Western society, because Western women don't actually want a relationship with a man. They want his attention, they want his time, they want his money. They want to use him for his utility, and that's it. And guys are done with this. They know the game, and they're done, and they're not playing it anymore. They're not playing it anymore. And you know, there's so much desperation. There's so much desperation right now when you look at these women, because there's the writing on the wall. Shout out to Zetapal. He says, "What's up, Angry?" Shout out to Zetapal. Not too much. Good to see you, bro. You know, there's so much that men have given to society And what's their thanks? To have their lives ripped apart? No more. No more. You know, women are discovering now the consequences for feminism. All right? And they're severe. And simps like Will Smith are discovering them too.
What's good money?
Pull up your account.
My phone is dead.
Okay.
What is good?
Until you can pull up your account, then...
Well, give us an idea. Why does it have to be about me? Is a couple million enough? Is a couple million enough?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like nowadays, the market is so inflated that to get a 31-year-old girl,
you know what's funny though?
You need to have multi-million dollars, like to get a ran through 31-year-old like sweatpants Birkin bag. You need to have multiple M's in the bank.
I know.
That's insane.
You can't just be funny and have a 8-inch hammer anymore.
Hold on.
Guys, welcome.
Ran through 31-year-old. Ran through. All right. This is the inflated ego of these narcissists. And it's not going to end. It's not going to end. They're going to keep on going. Men are waking up and men are tired and they're shocked. They're shocked. They think they can get whatever they want because they have the simps in their DMs. And these simps can't do anything for them. And they think that, oh, these high-value guys that are hooking up with them, right? Oh, these guys are going to marry them. They're not. They're not. They found them on the streets and they return them to the streets when they're done with them. That's how it is.
Welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Today's story, I found a reporter on Tinder that wrote up a story for an online website. And she said, you know something, I actually made a man's profile on Tinder. I swiped and all the reports and everything I've heard about women are true, which is it's kind of terrible out there for guys and women are being picky and unrelatable. And women kind of suck on the dating apps. This is from an Olivia Reingold. Olivia Reingold. She says, for this story, I set up an online dating profile as a man. My sources were right. The apps are full of demands for a tall, fit guy or a provider. A few swipes in, I spotted this warning on a woman's profile. If you one of those split the check or not wealthy, next. And this is something, we've talked about time after time, and women come out and say, nah, it's crap and everything else. But the truth of it is women's expectations have gone nuts. And I have a couple actually Tinder metrics where people will swipe, and based on the texts and based on the AI of Tinder, can build a profile that tells you kind of their dating history. And I found a couple guys' profiles that are tall, dark, handsome, and they pretend to have money. They've even admitted this themselves. So it doesn't necessarily mean they have money, but they're fit, they're tall, and they're good looking, and they fake having the money, and they have no problems with women. This woman posted here on Twitter, X, she says, women just want a good mid guy to call our own. Men will never understand that. And she posts a picture of Henry Cavill. Now, again, is she being facetious? Is she being funny? Who knows? But the truth of it is, we know that if Henry Cavill wasn't in Superman shape, but he was in dad bod shape, he would have a lot less luck than he has now. We know that women have just gone absolutely crazy with it. So let me read the article that I have, and then I'll show you those couple of Tinder profiles that I was talking about. So this is from Olivia here, and she wrote this up today, as a matter of fact. She says, and I apologize for any background noise. My battery terminals are feeding me juice, and the fans turn on because I'm sucking juice out of them. She says, the dating pool dropouts. Young men today feel they must be 6 feet tall, make 6.
Shout out real quickly to Zeta Pal. Zeta Pal just dropped some cash. She says, get fat and hide your money, and you will have zero woman problems. Thank you for that. Thank you for that birthday money, bro. I appreciate it.
Figures and have 6 inches downstairs to get a girlfriend. So many have given up trying. Now, what's interesting about this being written by a woman, Olivia, is how long have men's channels been saying, hey, man, you got to have all the 6s. And now we joke around, you got to have all the 7s. Or except for the 6-pack's got to be an 8-pack now. It's proliferated the zeitgeist so much that now women are actually hearing this. And women that are not on the dating apps and not doing the things, even they're like, yeah, the women want all the 6s. They're being unrealistic. So no matter, and since that's the only place men really meet women now, what's an average bloke supposed to do? They suffer. And so they either are miserable, or they try their luck in the real world, or they just give up. And a lot more are giving up. But I think they're giving up out of reasonableness. Like, this is just not a good value proposition for me. This isn't worth my time. Yes, some are quitting out of, being sad and realizing that they're not going to get there in life. But, as I say many times to many people, the red pill is not ever taken voluntarily. It arrives usually as a rectal insertion, much against your will. And that's how most guys find the red pill, is it's a suppository. It's not taken orally. And as more men find this, they find channels like mine or other ones, and hopefully they say, hey, you know what? There's 500, 400, almost 500,000 people on this channel, plus this channel, plus this. There's millions of men in the same mindset and seeing the same things I am, and I don't feel so alone. She says, if you're, okay, I forgot that first point. Okay, she says, how has the sexual revolution failed? The relationship between the sexes and our epidemic of loneliness are two topics we find ourselves continually returning to at the Free Press. Over the last few weeks, we have brought you a range of essays on these themes, from Jenny Powers on the surprising rise of phone sex operators to Rob Henderson on the decline of marriage. Kate Rosenfeld introduced us to the new female pickup artists, while our high school essay finalist Isabel Hogben revealed how she discovered spicy content when she was just 10 years old. I'm going to actually open this link for the female pickup artists. I'll give that a read and see if that's anything we should talk about. Now, Free Press writer Olivia Reingold reports on the increasing number of young men failing on the dating sites. She says, are you religious? The question made Jamal squirm. The answer was no, but he could tell his date wanted it to be yes. And after an hour-long drive to get there to a Caribbean restaurant in Orlando, Florida, he could tell it wasn't working. He said, I think we should just be friends, the 36-year-old security guard remembered telling the girl he had dinner with last month after they met on Facebook. He said this was his first date in 3 years. He said he once went 6 months without getting a single match on a dating app, even though he pays $30 in monthly fees between OkCupid, Bumble, and Hinge. If you count high school, when he went to the movies with a classmate, Jamal said he's been on a total of 3 dates his entire life. I think that's very similar to a lot of young men's stories today. Maybe they're not fully comfortable in social interactions. Maybe they just don't have a good profile. I mean, maybe they're just struggling in the looks department, or maybe they don't have a six-pack, but they have a keg like I do, got a little bit of a belly on them.
The thing is, guys, when you look at society and you look at the way things are playing out, a lot of these guys are dropping out of society. They're dropping out of the workforce. They're going overseas. They're choosing to work, and they're working enough to survive, and that's it, and take care of themselves. They're going MWA, and they're walking away from Western society and Western relationships, and they're finding new lives. They're starting new lives, and it's only going to continue going in that direction. For a lot of women believe that men will always want them. And I've heard women say this before, that men will always want them because they have the golden V. And the thing that women don't comprehend about that is that they have turned themselves into golden calves, all right? And we know how that happens, regardless of whether or not you believe the biblical story of the golden calf. When after God had done everything for an unruly group of people, the so-called chosen ones, what did they do after he, took them through so much? They created a golden calf, and it was destroyed, and God was furious, and they never got to see the promised land. Everyone from that generation ultimately passed on, and only then were the children of that generation allowed to enter into the promised land. And that illustrates what happens when we create something, an idol, and we erect it, and we basically say that we ourselves, we start praying to a false god and attributing the power, attributing the blessings of God to this. And women believe that they themselves are goddesses, and they believe that they basically worship the golden V. They basically believe that men should worship the golden V. And they put the golden V on full display, and they think that it can get them everything and anything that they want. because of the Simpson Society. Shout out to Roger. He says, "Angry guy salute." Thank you so much, Roger. Yeah, they think they can get anything they want because of the golden V, because they basically, a woman gets her value when she is born, and while a man has to create his own value over the course of his life. And that's the reason why they say women come into the world rich and they leave the world poor, while men come into the world poor, but they leave the world rich. And that is a continuous statement. That's something that we've known for quite some time, and it really hasn't changed. It really has not changed. Women have made bad decisions. They've been running wild for the last 20, 30 years now, as a result of radical feminism, and we're seeing the impact of that. If you look at the M2 movement, look at the devastation that is created in society. And post M2, women are now just using this as a means of extracting wealth, resources, and gaining influence and attention as a result of defaming men. And then women, and then you have these women who are now shocked that men are happier without them and don't want to have relationships with them, and they're trying to shame these guys, and they don't realize the more they shame them, the more they basically validate the reasons why these guys are walking away from relationships and dating in society. Because women struggle to be insightful and to self-reflect. Self-reflection is something that men do. Learning from one's mistakes is something that men do. Having to develop oneself and develop even one's personality, that's something that men do. Because women don't have to do these things. Because basically all she has to do is be pretty, be pretty, and be young, be pretty, and that's it. And she'll have guys basically, fawning over her. But for men, it's different. Men have to work on their bodies, they have to work on their finances, they have to work on their personality, their characteristics, their ability to hold a conversation, to keep a woman's attention, it's such a series of different things. Men have to work on so many different things while attempting to be leaders. And ultimately, what do men get for that? If everything goes well, and they can find a woman that says, okay, well, this guy's good enough, then maybe he'll get access to the golden V, but that's about it. And it's pretty crazy. It's no wonder guys are sick and tired of Western society. It's no wonder guys are walking away from Western society. It's no wonder guys have made up their minds and said that, you know what? I'm done. This is how society is. Society is not a place for me. Western society is not a place for me. So I'm going to leave. Or if I do stay, I'm not going to participate in it more than I have to. A lot of guys have completely dropped out, and they're living at home, and they found a way to survive entirely by them without having to work. Zetapal says, Eve told Adam, I ate from your rib. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Women are going to say that feminism got us everything we wanted now, and now let's fight it together. And I told you, you're going to, very soon, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. Like, because you see the global conflict happening around us. And as soon as women need men in society and they realize that, oh gosh, I need a man, blah, 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 blah. And, they try, and the disrespect and all that other stuff doesn't work. You're going to hear, like, you'll go and ask a girl, are you a feminist? And she'll say, fema what? Fema who? Fema. Is that a new song? Is that a new dance? Did you mean FEMA camp? I've heard of those places. They're terrible. I don't want to go there. All right. I told you. She's gonna say I've always been more of a girly girl. I love Jesus, ponies, and soft music and Chris and gospel music. Like she's really gonna try to flip the card, and you're gonna have these girls out here like try to pull this off while they're covered in tattoos. Men are tired of the games, and any guy with self-respect can see through it. Can see through the nonsense that women are doing in society and are done with it and are not playing along. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing lasts forever. And what women have done is that they've basically brought things to a point where they can't come back from this. Women cannot come back from what they've done in society. They absolutely cannot come back from what they've done. They can't. They cannot. You know, the relationship between men and women is forever broken. It is forever destroyed, and it will never be. It can never be healed in Western society. Not within our lifetime, not within our children's lifetime, and probably not within our children's lifetime. Because by then, I don't really know what state Western society will be in. We're basically going in the path of the Romans, nations rise and fall. And as sad as it may sound, America may not even be here in 100 or 200 years. 200, I'd give it 200 years, 300 max, but I'd give it 200 years. And honestly, it could be much sooner than that, because nations rise and fall much faster than you would believe. And America could literally fall overnight, given the right circumstances. I've said this before, that society, I've said this before, that society won't collapse. Groups of people in society will collapse. But while society may not collapse, governments do collapse. And then something else comes along to replace it. Zetapal says, how about 200 days? Celtic says, happy birthday. Have a fun day and get yourself a nice cake for yourself. Stay angry. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm having a pretty good day, because it's funny, because as guys, we don't really celebrate our birthdays. A lot of us go many years without even hearing happy birthday. Women live such easy lives. They live their lives in easy mode. Everything just comes to them, and they don't realize it. And even if they do comprehend it, they don't care. While men, on the other hand, we have to do everything. We have to build value. We have to create value for ourselves, create value that we can share with others, and only then will a woman glance in our direction. And women don't understand this, and women don't care. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I've said this before. Women created the situation for themselves, and they're going to have to live with it. They're going to have to live with the outcome. They're going to have to live with the fallback. They're going to have to live with everything that they've done. Okay? They're going to have to live with everything that they've done, because men are not going back. Men are not going back. Men are not walking back. Men are tired. Men are sick of the nonsense. And that's really just it. That's really just it. I'm just being honest when I say this. It's been so many years. It's been decades, literally decades of guys struggling. And it's and for most men today, it's literally enough is enough. Guys are done with games. They're done with nonsense, and they're walking away. Thomas says that all we want is fit, feminine, friendly, family first, and someone that we can be intimate with later on. And I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Roger Spice agrees with you. There's nothing left for women in Western society, because guys don't want a woman with a high body count. Guys don't want a woman with a high body count. No one's saying that she has to be like the Virgin Mary, but even the Virgin Mary may not have been the Virgin Mary. But I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna go there. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, ultimately, men are not saying that a woman has to be, never have been with a guy, but a guy doesn't want a girl that's been with like a dozen guys, or in many cases with modern women, dozens, if not hundreds of guys. That's really just how it is. Oh boy. Guys, what do you think regarding all of this? Women are shocked, men are happier without them. Right? And these are, it's not going to change. It's not going to really change anytime soon. I want to hear your thoughts regarding this in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my birthday stream. I really appreciate it. It was awesome having you guys on. You guys are so awesome. It's great having this channel, this platform, being able to just talk to you guys and share my ideas and get your feedback. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just enjoy the rest of my day. I really appreciate you guys. So like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, man. Walking away. And cheers.